my fellow Americans. On this fine President's Day, I ask you to join me as we list a fun fact about every president of the United States. Let's begin. George Washington's teeth weren't actually made of wood. They were made from animal teeth, ivory, and lead. John Adams died on the 50th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. Thomas Jefferson wrote his own epitaph that never mentions he was President of the United States. James Madison was the shortest president, standing at just 5 feet 4 inches tall. James Monroe is the only president to have a capital outside the United States named after him. The capital of Liberia is Monrovia. John Quincy Adams liked to skinny dip in the Potomac River. Andrew Jackson taught his pet parrot how to swear. Despite being born an American citizen, Martin Van Buren's first language was Dutch. William Henry Harrison holds the record for the longest inaugural address. He also died of pneumonia about a month after taking office. The tradition of playing Hail to the Chief when the president arrives started during the Tyler presidency. James Polk's the only president to have also served as Speaker of the House. Zachary Taylor died of a stomach flu that some people believe he got from eating an absurd amount of cherries and milk. Millard Fillmore installed the first library in the White House. Franklin Pierce was the first president to have a Christmas tree in the White House. James Buchanan is the only president to have never married. Abraham Lincoln is responsible for making Thanksgiving a national holiday. Before he was president, Andrew Johnson was a tailor, and he made all his own suits. Ulysses S. Grant once got a ticket for speeding on his horse. Rutherford B. Hayes had the first telephone installed in the White House by Alexander Graham Bell himself. James Garfield could write with one hand in Latin and one hand in Greek simultaneously. Chester Arthur owned over 40 pairs of pants, which was really excessive for the time. Grover Cleveland was the only president too. Benjamin Harrison was the first president to have electricity in the White House. Served 9 consecutive terms. William McKinley was shot during the Pan American Exposition in Buffalo, New York. The story of Teddy Roosevelt saving a bear cub's life is what inspired the teddy bear. William Taft once got stuck in the White House bathtub. Woodrow Wilson had a flock of sheep that grazed on the lawn of the White House. Their wool was used to knit socks for the Red Cross. Warren Harding once lost a set of the White House china in a poker game. Calvin Coolidge was known for not saying a lot. To keep their conversations private, Herbert Hoover and his wife spoke in Chinese. Franklin Roosevelt installed a swimming pool in the White House. Harry S. Truman's middle name was just S. Dwight Eisenhower liked to golf so much he installed a putting green on the White House lawn. John F. Kennedy once received the puppy of a Russian space dog as a gift from a Russian ambassador. When Lyndon Johnson took his oath of office, it was the first time a woman ever swore in a president. Richard Nixon called the astronauts on the moon. Before he was president, Gerald Ford was a model. Jimmy Carter was so unknown when he announced he was running for president that when he told his mom he was running, she asked him, "President of what?" Ronald Reagan absolutely loved jelly beans. George H.W. Bush was the captain of the Yale baseball team. Bill Clinton played the saxophone in a jazz trio in high school called Three Blind Mice. After his presidency, George W. Bush took up painting. Barack Obama worked at an ice cream shop in high school and hasn't liked ice cream since. And finally, Donald Trump was born the same year as Bill Clinton and George Bush. Thank you for your time, and happy President's Day.